In today's fast-paced real estate landscape, success demands more than surface-level expertise. It requires insight, adaptability, proven strategies, discipline, and the ability to take risk. The Agent Brew podcast blends candid conversations with wisdom from industry leaders who've walked the path before you. Think of us as your strategic pit stop to fuel your real estate journey. From the crossroads of the world in the heart of Times Square, welcome to Agent Brew Executive Sessions. I'm your host, Eric Zollinger of Realty Co. Hello to our viewers and listeners. I'm glad you're here for today's Executive Session episode of Agent Brew. Executive Sessions follows a similar outline to our regular Agent View episodes, but it allows for a deeper dive and greater conversation into today's hot topics and also current events and challenges facing our industry through conversations with those really making things happen in their respective markets, through the people running brokerage firms. Today, we have the pleasure of welcoming two guys that have built their business literally from the sidewalk all the way up the walk up by representing and being themselves the landlords here in New York City. We welcome Louis Adler and also Robert Rahmanian, the co-founders and the co-CEOs of Real New York Properties. Hello, guys. How are you today?
Doing well. Thank you for having us, Eric.
Thanks for being on. I guess I have to thank Robin Dolch of 100 Stories PR for introducing us.
We've been working with Robin for almost 10 years now. It's been an honor, and she's really helped position us to grow. So it was definitely apropos for us to introduce us.
She's a great friend of mine for many, many years, and I'm just glad she always brings great people, not just to Agent Brew, but to other forms of business too. So I'm glad you guys are here. Let's get started on your elevator pitch. Who are you guys as far as your business, and what do you represent today? And then we'll talk about the origin story in a bit.
Awesome. Yeah. Lou, I'll let you jump into that one.
Yeah, just to jump in. So Rob and I started Real New York about 11 years now. And our elevator pitch is we are landlord developer representatives. That's how we started off at Real New York. We started off in the Lower East Side. We were seeing new landlords come to the market, buy up properties, reposition them, refinance out, do it again, really snowball their businesses in the Lower East Side. And because we were the new shiny brokerage in the Lower East Side, we kind of jumped on their coattails and saw how they did it. And once we saw how they perfected their systems in repositioning properties, we helped teach other landlords and developers in the neighborhood to do something similar. We were getting the highest price per square foot in the Lower East Side, walk-up buildings, elevator doorman buildings. Then we kind of used that to leverage into other neighborhoods. We now have about 150 agents at Real New York, across every borough besides Staten Island, where we have agent specialists in different areas. We do retail, office, residential rentals and sales, new development, rental and new development sale representation, but we mostly veer towards landlord developer reps.
So you've really found your niche in the marketplace, because most people aren't looking from that ownership side, right? They're typically from, representing renters or buyers, some sellers too. But the new development, I have to say this, that I can see it outside my window every single day here at Realty Co. at 1407 Broadway, because you guys have now blocked my view of the Empire State Building. Tell us quickly about this awesome project.
Absolutely. I'd love to jump into that one. I mean, we're very proud to be involved and collaborate with the Sioni Group at 989 6th Avenue. It's right smack in the middle of Manhattan, 3 blocks from Bryant Park. It's going up 70 stories. And just taking a step back, it's my dream to have just a fingerprint on the city skyline. And this is really an opportunity to do that. You're going to be able to see this property from anywhere in Manhattan. Again, 70 stories, about 300 residences, 27 condos, sitting at the top from 59th floor and up. The views are going to be impeccable. The champagne-colored facade coming up is going to really light up Midtown. And you're going to see this vertical lighting system that I haven't seen before. A lot of outdoor space, 5 floors of amenities that we've partnered up with Urban Playground on, and we're very excited about. bringing that wellness, gym, just really top of the line amenities, and the finishes that are coming in. Some of the nicest bathrooms, kitchens I've seen. So we're feeling really pumped about bringing best in class rental property and condos to Bryant Park, Midtown South.
When do you plan on launching?
Looks like we're about 18 months away.
Oh, okay.
They're building fast. I think they're on the 55th floor at this point. It's every day, I'm on my commute out of Herald Square. I take a peek and it seems like they're putting up 2 floors a week. So it might be sooner than we think, but it's coming up fast.
So you're going to wait to actually launch sales until the building is complete?
We're weighing that out right now. I think
Okay.
that's going to be something that we see, and it depends on the climate of the sales market where we're sitting, and in about probably 10 months from now, we'll make a decision.
Yeah, I mean, it always depends upon, right? Like whatever that current market is, what the appetite is for people, and I think that's smart at the moment, because you don't want to waste those ad dollars and spin your reels. So that's great. Now, it would be crazy if I didn't bring up kind of the hot topic today, which just so everybody is aware, we are filming this on Wednesday, June 11th. And just so everyone is aware, if you're not from New York City, a big ruling just came down yesterday from the judge. We have a thing here called the FAIR Act, which was passed by the New York City Council that basically is, well, I guess I'm not the expert at it. If Robert or Lewis, if one of you want to give like the basis of what this FAIR Act is, I'll let you guys announce it.
Yeah, just to jump into it, what the FAIR Act does is puts most of the onus of the broker fee on the landlord and not the tenant. Unfortunately, what we're already seeing happening is rents are shooting up. We're seeing rents where the tenant was paying the fee up 10% overnight. We're already
we're already, correct me if I'm wrong, we're already almost at the max of the top of the rental market breaking records. So it's going above that.
Yeah, quote me right now on this. We're going to see in the next 2 to 4 weeks, articles come out where rents are at all-time highs.
Got it.
Even beyond what we've seen. I mean, that's been happening.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to only exacerbate the issue. Rents are going up like by the minute right now because of this situation.
And a big part of this, I mean, it's always about education, right? And unfortunately, our legislatures don't always, they pass bills not understanding the actual ramifications. And in this case, they're saying that basically if you advertise any listing, you are representing that landlord, technically, even if you don't have agency with that landlord, correct?
They're essentially saying that the advertising creates agency.
Right.
Is what we're being told, and how we're moving forward, and unfortunately, once again, this law is going to impact the tenant. It's going to hurt the tenant more than it's going to impact anyone else, and it's really, really tough to watch. to be honest, because we know what the bill's intention was, but we're seeing the results.
Yeah, and Lou and I have been doing this for over 15 years each. We've seen different markets, different cycles. When we got in, there was a black market where everything was on Craigslist. StreetEasy wasn't really a thing, and it was just starting to come up. It was prior to Zillow Group purchasing StreetEasy, and Lou and I, we saw that. We saw the Craigslist game. We didn't want to be those guys. We didn't want to be shady, hence the name Real New York. We wanted to bring transparency to the market, represent the landlord, and just share the address. Be straightforward, give everything up front. And the market over time, especially since Lou and I started the shop about 12 years ago, became very efficient. There was the fee listings, there was the no fee listings. The no fee listings were at a higher rent. You were paying the broker fee over time. And if you were savvy enough, or someone like myself who always picked an apartment that I was going to live in for 3, 4, 5 years, I decided to pay a broker fee, even though I was in the industry, even though I was an expert. I had all the resources to not pay a broker fee, but I always found that the apartment with a broker fee was the better deal. I locked that in, lived there for 3, 4, 5 years, saved a ton of money by paying that upfront rent, upfront broker fee. And now that doesn't exist. So it's become again, bit chaotic, and I think the consumer and the renter will ultimately is already being hurt just by rents going up, and now you're paying that broker fee not only every month but every year on your renewal. So unfortunately, I think it's going to be one of those bad laws that are common these days.
Yeah, I guess there's going to be a long time to for everybody to understand the ramifications. Now, if somebody wants to pay the broker fee, if they are a renter and they want to make sure that they get what they want, can they pay their own broker still, or is that just completely is that off the table?
So what we're being told is that if the broker does not represent the landlord, then the tenant can still pay the broker. But once again, the advertising creates agency.
And advertising, is that just being in the MLS, or in our RLS, or is that like street easy, or what does that mean? Do we know?
We're hearing Street Easy, we're hearing RLS, we're hearing, an Instagram post. We're hearing, and that's like that to me is part of what I believe Rebney's case should have stood on. If I say so and so landlord stinks, am I representing them? No, I'm sharing my opinion. So like, where's the line drawn on agency versus free speech? It's truly unfortunate how they blanket it and they took away the First Amendment right from, the brokerage community, but it seems like that's the position we're in.
Wow. Well, we're New York. We've lasted through, many other changes. I remember the agency change was a huge thing. We've mastered the NAR situation as far as the buyer agreements. This too, I think, will pass, and we'll figure out a way to make things work and ultimately represent our clients the best way possible. Which I know that's how you guys got your start. So why don't you talk about where did you guys grow up? Where are you each from? And then how did you meet? And what was the curating factor of starting Real New York?
Sure. I'll start. I grew up in Roslyn, Long Island, in New York, of course, and I ended up in Baruch College, where I found myself not the best student, not my favorite thing school, but I loved working and I loved hustling, and I got into real estate a bit organically. My family had a few properties, maybe 3 or 4 down in the Lower East Side. But even before I started to work on those, I just got into the brokerage business very much as a solo agent. I worked at a company that was sort of like a city habitats. You were working on open listings. You were getting putting up these ads, as I mentioned earlier on the podcast, Craigslist, and bringing in the leads and showing them around the city. That was great. I was doing that through college. I eventually found myself at a brokerage where it was 100% commission. You're, again, a lone wolf. And that's where I met Lou. So I'll let Lou kind of take it from there.
Yeah, I grew up in Coney Island, so I'm a true New Yorker, and I personally was always attracted to real estate. Always enjoyed seeing the neighborhoods change, seeing New York grow and evolve. Went to Indiana University, majored in business foundations and hospitality. Wanted to go into hotel management. With the lifelong goal of being a hotel developer, and found the best way of doing so is through real estate. Started working after college for the Durst organization. About 3 years into that, stepped out into the brokerage world. Bob and I like to joke around because we dated for like 2 weeks and have been married for 12 years. Right, we really didn't look back. But one of my favorite stories is seeing Rob come into the office in his cap and gown right from graduation to hit the pavement and get back to work. No lunch in between. So I was like, damn, this guy works hard, man. Like we used to open the office together. We closed the office and just kind of connected. We both were able to make these upfront contracts that I think every partnership should do. And the first one was we always put the relationship first. no matter who it is, we put the relationship first, and we promised ourselves it would pay dividends, and it would. Time and time again, we would say, what, the commission second, relationships first, and we would do whatever we could to make sure that our client understood that. And it's how we would take a 1 building portfolio and make it into a 50 building portfolio under the Real New York umbrella. And, it's how we went from doing, 4 to 8 family walk-up buildings to 300 to 600 unit multifamily new development rentals and condos. So it's been a really fun ride.
You guys have really, I mean, being in rentals is so tough. I've primarily done sales my entire 25-year career, because for me, rentals, that's tough. It's difficult. Like, I almost feel like it's going back into acting where there's so much rejection possible, right? Because it's just all about scaling and the volume. But you're working long hours. It's really tough, and you guys have really managed to find great success and have over 100 agents and stay motivated. And it's the market just is constantly turning and churning. And congratulations to you guys to really, really being able to make it work and happen. And having over 100 agents to manage is no small feat, right? You said about 125. How many offices do you guys have?
Yeah, we to that point, we were Joe Brown. Rob had black hair, and I had a lot more hair when we first met. We average about 3,500 to 4,000 rental transactions a year, and it takes a toll at times, but we love what we do, and thankfully we have a great support staff behind us. We currently have 2 offices, one at Nomad, one in the Lower East Side. We had an office in Brooklyn that we're considering relocating. And we have over 20 employees that are here to back us up and make sure that our agents are getting the guidance that they need, make sure that our listings are getting the marketing that they need, make sure that we're getting the highest price per square foot possible in the quickest time possible for our landlords and developers. So thankfully, we have an amazing team behind us.
Yeah, and I'm happy, Eric, you touched on the agents and Lou, you touched on the employees. It wasn't always like this, of course. And as we alluded to earlier on the podcast, we really started bootstrapped in a 300 square foot office on Allen Street. Me, Lou, and my fraternity brother, who I said, come join us. And we grew from 1 agent to 10 agents to 30 agents, where Lou and I were touching base with every single one of these agents. Again, as we discussed, Lou and I were agents ourselves for a couple of years. And when we started the company, we were running around collecting commissions, putting it into the coffer, and just paying ourselves $3,000 a month for, I think, the first 2.5 years until we were able to increase our salaries. And really, luckily, though, we were in our 20s and we were having fun, and there was an excitement and energy that is still here. It's just now with a much bigger team, and Lou's taught me to buy back my time with the right employees and the right team, so that we are not touching every agent the way we used to. We're still prioritizing our landlords, as that's a big part of our business. But it's just, and you think about also COVID, right? It happened, and we had to let go of half our staff. We had a full staff prior to COVID. COVID hits, we had to let go half our staff. Everyone had to do to survive, and then rebuild from there. So there's been, different skins shedded through this time, and we're now in 2.0, I'd like to think of.
How would you compare your business today versus prior to, right before COVID happened? Have you rebuilt and gotten larger, or are you still trying to gain ground?
No, COVID was great, but I'll start here. I mean, in the sense of our business, I'll say. But the 2019 rent laws happened June 15th, 2019. Right?
Yeah, those just, changed everything, right? Not just for rentals, but also with the transfer taxes, and that's it. It was incredible. The pendulum swung so far left, and just really lots of regulation.
Lots of regulation, and that was our bread and butter at the time. I mean, for better or worse. And I love the lessons that we've learned through this time, and trials and tribulations. But in 2019, we were like 5 years into the business. We were doing a tremendous amount of walk-ups where landlords were buying these 20, 30, 50 unit buildings, and they were able to deregulate the units, buy out tenants, whatever it was, renovate, and we were giving 5, 10, 20 apartments to rent. 2019 rent laws happened, and that doesn't exist anymore. That just wasn't a game that our landlords were able to play. That the music stopped, and from there we started to realize we were getting a little less product. But we put our heads down. 6 months later, boom, the world is ending, and we're not allowed to show apartments anymore. COVID hit, and we were very worried that we didn't know if we were going to have a business in a couple of weeks. I mean, we were running so low on the bank account, and really working out. I was working out of my in-laws' basement. I think Lou was in Coney Island, Florida, for a bit, and we were just trying to figure out a way every day to just make something happen. I remember it was like we did 5 deals in 1 month when we normally would do 105 deals in that month. And every single deal was like, great, we need this commission. We needed every dollar. And the best thing that happened during that time is we got a call from one of our landlords, and he said, "Hey, Rob, I'm speaking to this gentleman and that gentleman, and these are big time landlords, some of the biggest walk up landlords and clients that we had, and even that we didn't have. And they invited us to join the call and discuss what's going on. Half of our tenants are leaving. They're breaking their lease. They're just running away, giving back the keys. Our retail tenants aren't paying, their leases. They're leaving. The bank is calling, and we all huddled up on that call and discussed how we're handling it. From there, we spoke again in a week. We took it another call in another week, and Lou and I decided, we looked at it, we said, this is an opportunity. We can create what we call now the Real New York Landlord Forum, where we invite about 300 to 350 landlords in the city and our clientele into this Zoom call. We now do it quarterly. It's been 5 years since that call started, and about 100 or so landlords join. We discuss anything from regulation, politics, the rental market, of course, and just try to help our landlords stay ahead of the game. It's become, I think what was really interesting again, and I appreciate the time talking on this, is that before COVID, landlords were very close to chest on what they were doing in the business and whatnot. And we got attacked, however you want to call it, the 2019 rent laws, and again, COVID and whatnot. We had no choice. We had to band together and say, look, how are we going to get through this together, and how do we organize? And we were lucky to be a bit of help in doing that.
Yeah, and don't forget, Rob, when those 2019 rent laws were announced, we just signed a lease for a new office in Chelsea. I was walking the contractors through the space when we heard the news. So, we limped on through COVID, paying our landlords and making sure our relationships were strong with our landlords in the retail spaces we were in. But, there was definitely moments where I'll never forget. I COVID in the middle of March, and Rob was like, "Gotta wake up, man. You gotta get out of bed. You gotta make some changes. We're going to lose it all. Get up." So, and Rob's always been good at motivating me in that regard.
Well, I always like to ask, what are the greatest wins in your careers? And this certainly sounds like it's one of those, because it's not just what you guys did together, but it's like, how do you really impact the entire marketplace? And 5 years later, it's still going on. That's really great for you guys to have created something that is having real meaning and is important for the city's rental market and landlords.
Yeah, I think one thing Rob and I are extremely proud of is our resiliency, over the years. Like a lot of the firms that were focused on rentals when we started just are non-existent anymore. I can't name one that started around the same time as us that's still around. Because we're resilient, because we stayed in front of our relationships, they continue to grow, and we, reap the benefit. We worked on an elevator doorman building in the Lower East Side, built a relationship with the landlord. His group was developing 2 new development condos in Brooklyn. We didn't have experience on that end, but we hired some agents that did. We hired director of sales that did have experience on the new development condo side. And, we did about $80 million of sellout with them throughout COVID. That was a huge win. And that really got us on the sales side. That really got us working on new development condos. And, thankfully we've done a bunch since and have a couple in the pipeline.
Yeah, the next one I had in the landlord call, that helped triple our business. And once we were getting out of COVID, the amount of landlords that were calling us and saying, hey, my way of doing it before wasn't great. I was showing it through the supers. I was doing it on site. My staff is not coming into the office. They're a little older. They're not willing to go out in COVID. Or the broker I used to work with moved to Florida. I need a broker. I like what you guys are saying. My friends say you're good. They tell me about this landlord call. How do I join? And how do I give you my business? It was incredible to see the influx of business coming in, and then the market, with everyone coming back to New York at the same time, it switched really fast. And it showed me and Lou that hard work, especially at the toughest times, really pays off. And you just never know what's around the corner in this business. So every time we got punched, we've gotten up and we got stronger.
Any particular other wins that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, I think one big win, it's been a couple of years ago now, but we're very proud to be the reps on the the record just broke. We had a record-breaking condo sale at 70 Vestry Street, where we sold Penthouse S for $55 million. We were representing the buyer. It was
I remember reading all about that. I mean, that's quite the, with related, Robert A.M. Stern down in Tribeca on the water. I mean, what a great project. And congratulations. I forgot that was you guys. Well done.
Appreciate it. It's still the record in Tribeca, Rob.
It's still the record in Tribeca. That's right, Lou. That's right. Thank you.
Used to be downtown. We'll take what we can get.
So on the flip side of that, any transformational losses that really affected your business or yourselves, personal or career wise?
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of moments that stand out to Rob and I. One of the moments that we always come back to is when we were a smaller shop, 12 agents in the Lower East Side. We had an office at 143 Ludlow Street, beautiful retail space, neighboring Ludlow House, with a lot of exposed brick charm. And on the same day, we only had 2 employees and the rest, and 12 agents at the time. Our top employee and our director of operations gave their notice. And it was just one of those moments where we're like, oh, wow, like, what are we going to do? And I can, with my eyes closed, I can picture the walk Rob and I did. We made a left out of the office, a left on Stanton Street, a left on Orchard, and a left on Rivington, left back on Ludlow, went right back to the office and went right back to work. We talked it out, made a game plan and attacked, which is, something that we go back to a lot, because in these situations, which, that's a microcosm of what we faced over the years. We've always regrouped, we always made a game plan and attacked. And that has really been a huge key to our success. We say it quite often. I would not want to be doing this without Rob by any means. Having a partner, having someone to lean on in these situations is extremely important for myself. I don't think I would be able to have a business like Real in Europe without him. And it's been a fun journey.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was a huge lesson learned, because like you said, Lou, that's happened 5-6 times since in different forms. And we've always kind of approached it the same way. You can't get stuck. You can't get in your head. You got to get back to work. You got to take action. And I remember during COVID, again, going back there, but it was a really scary time. And I was on the way to get my vaccination shot, which I wasn't able to get because I was feeling flu-like symptoms when I got there, and they kicked me out. But anyway, I remember the conversation on the way there. It was pretty dark times. And Lou and I we were talking to each other, and we're like, listen, man, if we didn't have this partnership, we weren't like, doing this together, we just call it quits. Like, this is like, but we're not going to quit on each other. And that was another turning point where we were just like, all right, let's tighten our belt. Let's get back out there.
Well, so you guys have a lot of history together, a lot of successes, some setbacks, but more successes, I would say. What's next? what does the next 5 years look like for you guys and real New York?
Great question. Great question. I think, look, it's tough to say and tell. I mean, the only constant in this business is change, and we've learned to plan as best as we can, but stay very, very flexible and adapt. Now, what we're incredibly excited for is the new development game. And we brought in a fantastic new hire about 3-4 months ago, Erica Marks, coming from Douglas Elliman, and she's now leading our new development division. As we mentioned, we have about 1,500 units in the pipeline, over 10, 15, 20 properties right now, and it's growing by the month. Where we're very excited about, one sector we're very excited about is the whole office to residential conversion game. Now, after the Midtown South rezoning and the City of Yes, and all the advantages or ways to now convert these office buildings to residential, we're seeing it, and we strategically placed our office on 30th and Broadway within 10, 20 blocks of the most dense office to resi projects, so that we could be there right when they're happening and really tour those properties. And we're starting to get a lot more inquiries from developers and landlords. We're working on 4 projects right now that are conversions. One's a hospital to residential conversion. One's a hotel to resi. One's an office to resi. Another office to resi. So we're very excited about getting into that new development game. It's something that we've worked very hard to get into, and we're, thinking that's going to be a big part of the next 5 years. Yeah, I'll let you take it from there. But
Yeah, no, we're like very much that office to resi world is extremely exciting, and I love how Rob pointed out. He pointed out the other day we're working on a hospital to resi, a hotel to resi, multiple office to resis, and we're getting that that office to resi call, every other day now, which you're going to see more office to resi conversions than you're going to see new development in the pipeline when it comes to units, and especially south of 86th Street. So that's definitely going to be a huge niche of ours that we're excited to, help our landlords and developers with.
It's great. So we come to the point in the show that's always my favorite part, and that's where it's the advice section. If you could give your young agent self a piece of advice, not someone else in today's young marketplace, but you yourself back in the day, what would it be? Robert?
don't stress. Actually, it's so easy to say right now, but I've learned over time that the worrying and stress doesn't get you anywhere. And I think that's something that Lou really taught me. Just be in the moment. Otherwise, looking back, it's tough to say. I think, and I don't mean to pat myself on the back or say there's nothing. I'm sure there's a tremendous amount I can't think of right now that I would give myself advice on. But as Lou said earlier, we had a very similar foundation when we first met in our early 20s, and we said we're gonna be honest, we're gonna work hard, and we're gonna stay humble. And just staying true to those pillars, I think put us in a position where we're just very proud of what we've built. It's not always about the money. It's not always about the growth. It's about knowing you're doing the best you can, you're doing right by your clients, and I throw that as advice for everyone. Yeah.
Very much with Rob. For me, it's it all works out. We've stressed over so many issues that never came to be. So many TCO issues along the line. So many laws that were changing, regulations that are changing. It's always worked out. I've always loved Barbara Corcoran's line of what makes a good agent is how quickly they get back up. And I'm a firm believer, and that rings true in my end. And it's something that I would advise my younger self and every agent that walks through the doors of real New York.
That's great. And great advice too. So I'm a huge positive motivator fan here, and I always like positive quotes. I don't know if you guys have any positive quotes you'd like to share, but thinking of your story and our talk the other day, I came across one from the founder of Oracle, Larry Ellison, that I thought was apropos for you guys. If you do everything everyone else does in business, you're going to lose. The only way to really be ahead is to be different. And you guys have really created a great brokerage that isn't like any other. And that's why you guys have managed to be so successful and continue to be successful. And we at Agent Brew are so glad that you guys came on for executive sessions. And we certainly wish you guys tremendous success in the short term and long term. And hopefully you'll come back in a future season and you'll be able to tell us all about how the 6th Avenue project, I think it's 100 West 37th Street.
That's correct, aka 989 6th Avenue. So you got it.
Great. Well, Louis and Robert, thank you so much for being a part of Agent Brew Executive Sessions. We wish you guys success. And I'm Eric Zollinger, part of Realty Co., reminding you it's a great day for real estate, and we hope you come back for future episodes. The Agent Brew podcast is brought to you by Realty Co. Realty Co. is your partner in real estate, bringing you game-changing benefits and services to empower your business. Visit realtyco.com for more information.